Hello there everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a redeem code system. And before I start, let's just say that you need to have leader stats already for your cash, because we're going to add cash, we're going to add money to your cash. So make sure you have that. If you don't, you can go watch my previous video that shows you how to make leader stats. Further ado, let's get into this. Let's get to the real scripting part of this. What you're going to do is insert a local script inside of your claim button, local script, and we're going to remove the print hello world. And before we do anything else after, let's go insert a remote event inside of replicated storage, and we're going to name this code event. Nice. Now when we click the button, the claim button, so script.parent, this is referring to the text button. When the text button is clicked, so mouse button one click, you can connect this into a function, and this function is just going to be, every time you click, it's going to activate this function. And we want to fire over the message from the text box. And when we write something inside of the text box, so if I write hi, as you can see, the text changes to hi. So we can just we can fire, because when we want to fire the remote event, we want to pass through the message, which is the text. So game.replicate storage.code event fire server, and what we're going to pass is the text of the text button, so script.parent. Now this refers to the text button. We want to go outside of the text button, the screen GUI, and we want to go inside of the screen GUI. So screen GUI inside is the text button, so dot text button, there we go, and dot text. Now what this is going to do is send over our message, our text, every time we click the claim button. And we can just remove this, and let's get to our actual code receiving. So let's create a script inside of server script service. We're going to name this code. We can just name it codes, and at the top first thing we're gonna do is make our codes. So codes is equal to the table. Inside of the table is going to be our codes. So let's just say YouTube, or let's just actually say hi is going to equal to 100 cash. Buy is going to equal to 200 cash, or just 200. And morning is going to equal to 300. And make sure to put a comma if you want to add a new thing. So if I did good night and I did 100, or like 111, it would work. But after this, if I did this again, it wouldn't work. It can be an error because I need to put a comma here. The last one doesn't need a comma, but it needs to have a different name. So yeah, make sure you have a comma. You can just make sure all of it has commas, so you don't accidentally, accidentally make a mistake. Now that we have our codes, we're going to actually create a data store for our codes to be inside of. So local code store is going to equal to, let me get my mouse out of the way, is going to equal game get service, because we're going to get the data store service. So data store service, and then we're going to go across, we're going to write get data store, and this is going to basically get and create our data store, and we're just going to name this code store 1. Now that we have our data store and we have our code store, we can actually create, before we do anything else, let's create a variable called replicated storage. So I can just name this rep, which is going to be equal to game.replicated storage. Now when we receive the remote event that's getting fired, so when we catch the thing that is getting fired, so replicated storage, which is rep in our case, so replicated storage is rep, so rep dot code event, and we're going to put dot on server event, and this is the event that it uses, and we can connect this into a function again. And the first thing that gets put in here is Roblox is telling us the first thing is going to be a player, and then the second thing is going to be anything that you sent over. So what we're going to automatically do is do PLR, which is going to stand for player, and we're going to do message. MSG, which is message. When we fire our remote event from a local script, it's always going to fire the player and then the thing that you're sending over. So make sure to always have player first if you're using a remote event and you're firing it from a remote event. So player when we have our message, and now we can check if it's inside of the codes table. So if if it finds the message, then now it goes inside of the table of codes, and it checks if we have the message, and if it does, then it's going to continue. And what we're going to do is we're going to create our data, so our data inside of a table, or we're just going to refer to it as so local data is going to equal to our code store, and we're going to get async, and this is going to get the thing inside. But now we need to get the key. We can just do player.user ID, because that's what we're going to set the async later as their key as. So data is equal to the code store. It's going to get the stuff inside of the code store by their key, which is the player user ID. So it gets the stuff of the player by using their user ID as their key. So now that we have our data, we can check if it is or if it's not. So we can do if not data, because what if it's empty? Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the stuff inside. So we're gonna do a local new things is going to equal to a table. Since data is not a table right now because it's empty, it's literally just nothing. So we're gonna make it into a table, and we're gonna do the first thing that we're gonna do is gonna check is actually gonna fit inside the data. So code store set async. I'm gonna use the key, which is the player's user ID, and then we're gonna put inside the value, which in our case is the table, the new things table. So new things. And before we do anything, before we actually save the table, we want to insert the new code inside. So we're going to do table.insert, which is going to insert something inside of something. Here it says you have to refer to the table first, then the value. So new things is our table first, and then we're going to refer to our value. In our case, the value is going to be the name of the code, which is just going to be message. And then we're going to actually save we're going to save the new things, and we're going to do underneath all of this, we're actually going to give the player the cache. So player.leader stats, because our cache is inside of the leader stats. So player.leader stats.cache.value, always make sure to put value plus and equal to. This is going to add the value, because if we did plus a number, it would give us an error. But if we do plus and equal to and then we do a number, our error is go. We're not going to do 100, we're actually going to get the numbers here. So we can just copy and paste this from the top here. And if we did print codes message, this just give us the number. Okay, now that we actually we set everything inside, we save the data, and what we're going to do is now do else. So if the data is a table itself already, so if it's a table, then we're going to check if the table itself already has the message, so basically the code, which is the message. So if table dot find, and then again we have to put in the table name because this is a table. So if we find inside of the table the message, then we want all of this to stop, so we can just do then return end, and this will stop everything underneath from happening. If the table finds, if the player's specific data store already has the message, then it's going to stop. But then this is going to, everything underneath is going to carry on if it doesn't find it. What we're going to do instead is we're going to first of all add inside of the table. So table.insert data store, we don't actually need to create a new table because there's already a table for us. Here there was no table, so we had to create our own table and save our data as a table. But now that we actually do have a table, we can just use this as the table. So table.insert, what are we inserting? We're going to insert the message. What we're going to do next is we're going to save the code. We're going to save the code store. So set async, and we're going to use the player's key again. So player.userid, and then we're just going to save data. Oh, don't forget to actually add on the cache, so we can just copy this again and paste it here. Yeah, and let's play the game and see what happens. If we just type a random letter, nothing will happen. I already have cache, so look at this, I already have cache. But if I do hi and I press claim, my cache goes up by 100. It was right now 200, but it went up by 100. If I click this again, as you can see, it does not go up. But if we try another code, for example morning or buy, we can do buy. If we click this, I see it went from 300 to 500. It just got 200 more. If I click claim again, it will not work. And let's try rejoining and see. Let's rejoin and see if it saves. So we can't try the same code again even if we rejoin. So we have 3,500. If we type hi, which was one of our codes, click claim, as you can see, our cache does not raise up because we have saved the table properly and everything works. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I guess now you guys have a code redeemer in your game. Make sure to like and subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.